Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. I hope you've all had an amazing week, and it's been a very big and busy week for royal news. I hope you all took the time to listen to the music I played before the chat started. It is, of course, The Last Post. And just in case you were wondering, there is a reason why I played The Last Post. Oh, I think it's gone to another video. There we go. Stop that one. There is a reason why I played The Last Post, and that's because this Monday past, I lost my granddad. He sadly passed away. He was 94 years old, and at wartime he was in the Navy. He was on the Russian convoys, in fact. So I just thought it was very fitting to play that as a mark of respect to him. So it's been a very up and down week for me, but I still wanted to do the chat. And of course, I don't want to sit around and mope about and mope forever. And of course, I think he'd have wanted me to just carry on. So let's get back to the chat. So please, as always, the format is exactly the same. Please leave your comments, your hellos, anything you want to say to me in the comment box that you can see. And I will try my very best to answer all of your questions. Okay, lots of people saying they're very sorry for my loss. Thank you so much for taking the time to reach out and send me your condolences. I really do appreciate it. Let's do the hellos. Hello to Chris Jagger. Hello to Nina. Hello to Kathy. Hello to Justin. Hello to Mahmood. Hello to Sari. Hello to Corrie. The first Mrs. R is here, and Stacey, and Odia, and Peter Tor, and Melody, and Annette. And have I missed anybody? I don't think I have. So yeah, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. More people saying, sending me their sympathies and condolences. Wow, what a week it's been in terms of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Let's get there at the very top of the chat, because I know I'm probably going to be talking about it all the way through, but I'm going to call it the Harry and Meghan fiasco. And the reason why I'm calling it a fiasco, just in case you didn't know, there was intense media speculation that there was actually going to be an announcement on Friday. And of course, the normal time for a royal announcement regarding an engagement is traditionally round about 11 o'clock. And there was great expectations, the greatest of expectations, that there was going to be an announcement. But there wasn't. So 11 came and went, and then news broke that it could be 5 o'clock. And of course, there was talk that meetings had been had in the palace, unusual meetings that don't, I mean, obviously meetings happen all the time, but these were said to be, or reported to be, from inside the palace, meetings that were a different sort of meetings to do with an announcement or a change. So of course everyone thought it was the Harry and Meghan announcement. It fitted with the time scales of Meghan being able to attend a Sandringham Christmas. 5 o'clock came and went, although, and no announcement. So that completely just, I suppose, shook everybody who thought that one was coming. But then there was also breaking news of a couple of terror attacks, one in Egypt and one potential one in London. So at the same time as the announcement that was expected, we had all this going on. So I'm wondering whether the announcement was possibly put back because of the things that were happening, perhaps out of sensitivities, or perhaps it was never going to happen in the first place. Who knows? We are not going to know now until an official announcement. So I think that kind of serves everyone right for reading into reports before they actually happen. And as you all know, I'm a great advocate for only believing something if it comes from an official announcement or an official source from the palace or from a royal themselves. So I think that's perhaps all taught us a lesson, not to jump to conclusions. And I'm sure I'll probably mention that many times throughout this chat. Ben McLean says, greetings from New Zealand. Hello to you. Justin Lagrange says, you have 2 meetings. You heard there was 2 meetings. I heard there was 2 meetings too. One was about Meghan Markle and Harry, and the other one was about the Queen and Philip. But I'm not sure about that. In fact, I'm not sure of the content of any of the meetings, to be fair. And then you go on the Queen, put the Regency Act and let Charles take over. I don't think that was it. And like I say, I don't think we'll ever know until an official announcement. Oh dear says, fill me in on the Meghan and Harry gossip. Well, I hope I have. Peter Tor says, yes, a private meeting for all royal staff that was initiated to brief them of the news. But again, we don't know what news, or if it was the Harry and Meghan news. Like I say, perhaps it was put back because of the Egypt tragedy and the unfolding event that happened in London on Friday, which turned out to be nothing more than a fight, I think, in the end. Clara says, hello from Cali, Colombia, South America. Sorry for your loss. Well, thank you so much for your condolences. David Penner says, I heard that a royal insider said that an announcement will be made after New Year. Well, again, I mean, we've all had our ideas about when an announcement could be made. Originally, I thought perhaps maybe even it could have been as early as September. When September came and went, I was thinking Christmas or possibly New Year. I opted with my own thoughts for possibly before Christmas, so that Meghan could spend a royal Christmas at Sandringham with Harry and the Queen. However, another way of looking at it is that perhaps Meghan might want to spend a last non-royal Christmas, maybe in Toronto with her mother. So maybe she's going to stay in London until the very last minute, and then when Harry goes to Sandringham, she might flit off back to Toronto to be with her mother. That could be the plan, and then possibly a New Year announcement. So again, we're left wondering. We don't actually know, although I do believe that perhaps the actual engagement itself probably happened when they were in Africa on their last holiday. Christine Suckup says, Elliot, are you wearing the sapphire brooch? It's actually an amethyst surrounded by diamond brooch on a royal family order box bow, as I call it, made by Dawn, the fabulous Dawn, who I don't think can be with us tonight. So thank you, Dawn, for the box bow. But yes, this is an amethyst surrounded by diamonds, and it is a replica or very similar to one owned by the Queen. And I'm currently trying to research into what the name of it is. I've seen pictures of it, so if anyone knows, do let me know in the comment section below. I know some of you are really up on your jewellery, but I know one exists that the Queen has, and it's very similar, if not almost exactly the same. So I hope you like it today. Clara says, will William and Catherine be king and queen soon? Well, it depends how you define soon. All I will say is after Charles. Peter Tor says, did you know that Meghan is a distant cousin to Harry on the Bowes-Lyon side? Yes. And I think we worked out it was something like 16 or 18 times removed. Nina says, was Charles and Camilla at the anniversary dinner? I didn't see them in the pictures. They arrived separately. So Charles arrived in his car and Camilla arrived a little bit later, but we don't have any pictures of Camilla arriving, but I do believe that she was there. They just arrived separately. So maybe they had different things going on that day that they had to attend to, but they were definitely there. But yes, they arrived separately. Hello to Angel. James Med4 says, could Harry and Meghan just be moving in together like Edward and Sophie did? It's possible. It's certainly possible. And there was a little bit of a discussion on Twitter earlier between previous royal staff and royal reporters, you know, saying, you know, where would the announcement come from? Would it come from, you know, Clarence House, Buckingham Palace? Would the engagement announcement come from Kensington Palace? And lots of the old guard were kind of saying, you know, it's could come from Clarence House. But then people were saying, well, you know, it was unprecedented that they actually announced Pippa's wedding, who isn't even royal, from Kensington Palace. So perhaps Harry and Meghan's could be from Kensington Palace, where he lives in a cottage in the grounds. So we are in kind of uncharted waters. Protocol isn't exactly being followed these days. So, you know, we just don't know. We're going to have to just literally wait and see. We really are. So going back to the question, could Harry and Meghan be moving in together? They could just be moving in together with an announcement, you know, imminent immediately, or perhaps in the new year. Jen says, hello to you. Kimberly Stevens says, does any of the men in the royal family, I'm trying to read two words at once, in the royal family favour black and white dress shoes? I haven't seen any in day wear. Maybe you have. Let me know what you've seen on the royal foot. Yeah, no, I haven't seen the black and white dress shoes in day wear, and I haven't really seen them in evening wear, to be fair. But perhaps they should. If anyone's listening, please bring back the black and white dress shoe. Angel says, I like the background, it looks good, thank you. And again, I thought it was rather fitting for my granddad, who fought for our country. Gwen Adams says, hi from Alabama. Hello to you. Oh, Dawn's made it. Hello to Lady Buckingham. And I'm wearing your white box bow with an amethyst and diamond brooch this evening. Justin says, will William's new baby jump Charlotte if it's a boy? No, for the first time ever it won't, because the laws were changed on the succession. So a firstborn daughter or a daughter in the line of succession will never ever, from now on, from Charlotte onwards, be supplanted by a boy or a male born later than them. So no, Charlotte will keep her line in the succession, even if the royal baby number 3 is a boy. Oh dear says, have you put your Christmas tree up? The Queen has hers all decked out at Windsor Castle. I know, I made the video on it, and it does look splendid. And of course, those aren't her private, personal Christmas trees. They are the ones in the state apartments at Windsor Castle. Don't forget, Windsor Castle has lots of visitors, and the Christmas period is a very busy period for the Windsor Castle tourism. So, of course, they've decked out all the rooms that the public go and see in Christmas, in full Christmas splendour. And if you haven't checked out that video, please do, because the decorations are spectacular and very, very, very traditional this year. They've gone back to gold and gold and red in a different room. So it's all very traditional and very, very Christmassy. Of course, we don't know if the Queen's got her private tree up in her own royal apartments. But let's not forget the Queen spends some time at Windsor Castle before moving on to her traditional Christmas at Sandringham, where all the royals join her. So she will spend some time at Windsor, but not all of it. She'll then move on to Sandringham. And have I put my Christmas tree up? No, not yet. I usually wait until the first week in December. So I'll be putting mine up soon. But I'm going to change my decorations on my other tree. I've got 2 trees. Maybe I'm like the Queen, I have lots of trees. So in my room behind me, in the door behind, I'm going to buy all new decorations, and I'm going to go sort of iridescent, white, maybe fluff, maybe a bit of a fluff theme going on. So I'm going to change all those. I'm going to keep the decorations I had last year in the video I made about my Christmas speech. So you'll see that same tree again. On the notion of Christmas speech, on the Queen's Christmas speech, I made one last year. So if you haven't seen that, do type in Google Royal Reviewer Christmas message or Christmas broadcast. I can't remember what I called it, and you'll find last year's Christmas message. And last year I recorded it 2 weeks prior to Christmas, and I set it to go live on Christmas Day, the same time as the Queen's, 3 p.m. on Christmas Day. That's 3 o'clock GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. And it went live, and I hope everyone enjoyed my 2016 Christmas message. But today, just today, I have written my 2017 Christmas message, so I'm very excited, and I can't wait to get my tree up so that I can record my new message. I really am looking forward to it. So I hope you're all going to enjoy my Christmas message. Please, tune in or catch up on Christmas Day and see my Christmas message. And like I say, I really hope you like it, and I hope the message is both reflective and inspiring for the future, for the year coming. Marsha says, hi Elliot, is Harry allowed to have a non-traditional wedding? Aha, there was also rumours that part of the briefing or the meetings that were going on were that they were going to have a non-traditional wedding. Now, who knows what non-traditional wedding means? It may just mean different to what the royals have had previously, i.e. the traditional white wedding with a church or a chapel or a registry office, and the white dress and all the costumes and flowers and outfits and bridesmaids and all the rest of it. Or it could, who knows what it means? It could mean they have a beach wedding, or I don't know, a skydiving wedding or an underwater wedding. Who knows what non-traditional means? I really don't know. Will it mean that it's not going to be filmed? Will it not be public? Are the rumours even true that it is going to be a non-traditional wedding? We don't know. That's the whole thing. Until something is actually announced, until we get details officially, we really don't know. Angel says, the Lady Buckingham. She is the talk of the people online chat rebellion. Lady Buckingham isn't a real lady, although she is a lady. She's definitely a lady. She's definitely female. But she's not actually a Lady Buckingham. So please don't get confused. Okay, let me scroll down so I can read some questions. The first Mrs. R says, they usually... Oh, hang on. I've lost the question. I just started reading it. Okay, the first Mrs. R says, they usually announce engagements about 5 to 6 months before the wedding. So if the Duchess is due in April, they might not announce an engagement until late December or even early January, which kind of fits in with what I've been saying. Could be, a little bit before the royals were expected at Sandringham, or it could be in the new year. Again, we're just going to have to wait and see. Necker says, will Prince William have as many children as George V? Well, on the subject of children, we know they're going to have 3. Catherine is one of 3 children. William obviously has his brother. Will they go for more? I've got a sneaky feeling that Catherine might equal the Queen and go for 4. But then again, she does have these terrible episodes of this morning sickness. Although to go on and have 3, all with the morning sickness, she can't mind that much. So I'm going to plumb for 4. 4 children for William and Catherine. But again, we just don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Elaine says, you forgot Edward and Sophie lived together first. They did indeed. Nina says, maybe they don't want to get married yet. It's a possibility. Jen says, you got your tea. I got mine too, with my cow mug. I've got a cow mug today. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's pictures of cows on it. I think they're the Scottish type, actually. Peter says, Meghan was seen shopping for bikinis. Well, I didn't know she was spotted bikini shopping. And you say that hints to a beach holiday soon after the Christmas holidays. Okay. Well, I didn't know she was shopping for bikinis. That is news to me. David Penner says, if Harry gets married and has children, will his children have royal titles? Well, that's an interesting one. Because at the moment, no. With the place he is in line to succession, not automatic, not unless letters patent were issued to say otherwise. However, as soon as Her Majesty the Queen passes away and Charles succeeds to the throne, then as the son of a reigning monarch, any children that Harry has or is going to have will be entitled to princely or princess status. However, those titles could be refused, as did Edward and Sophie. However, the Duke of York did accept, and of course the York princesses are indeed blood royal princesses. Who knows what Harry might do in the future? But yes, letters patent could be issued to alter it, or Harry could wait until his father is king before accepting any titles for his children or future children. Otherwise, they will be styled the sons or daughters of a duke. If Harry is given a dukedom upon marriage, that is. Again, all kind of unknowns. We don't really know. Annette says they better hurry up. Meghan's eggs are getting old. We don't want old eggs. We definitely don't want old eggs. Lady Buckingham says it looks good. It does indeed. I love it. And just in case you can't see because of the brightness of the light, I'm wearing the white box bow. Last week I wore the yellow box bow, so this is the white one. And the week before that I wore baby blue. Angel says, yes, next year, royalty wedding 2018. I believe it will be sometime in 2018. Nuneka says, why did they get rid of male primogeniture? Basically because it was unfair. It was outdated in today's society. And one of the good things about the royal family and royalty, in particular the British royal family, is that they do move with the times. Sometimes they aren't necessarily ahead of the trends or the social climate or social thinking, but they are usually and do usually keep in step. And so they have, they felt the modern mood, and that is that boys are equal to girls and girls are equal to boys. We're all the same, and it doesn't matter what sex you're born into. It did matter many years ago, but it doesn't anymore. So that's why they decided to get rid of it, because it was old, it was outdated, and let's face it, if they'd have kept it, at one point people were going to ask the question, why are girls being supplanted by males? So that was always bound to happen. So I think, just like I said, the royals always, just keep in step with the current modern mood. So of course they didn't face that criticism. They were just in step, and I'm glad they did. Mary Thomas says, I'm so sorry to hear, my deepest sympathies. Thank you so much. It really does mean the world. Jen says she's got her Christmas tree up. Lots of people have, actually. It's that time of year where some people just can't wait and they put up their Christmas trees. But mine will probably be sometime next week, possibly the weekend. I'll probably put it up over the weekend. Oh dear says, have you ever been to Windsor to see decorations for Christmas? No, I would dearly love to. And there's possibly still time if there's tickets. Maybe I could go. I would love to. I would love to vlog from Windsor at Christmas. So yeah, hopefully. But we'll see. Maybe I can make it an aim for next year. I definitely want to pre-book tickets this year for the summer opening of Buckingham Palace, and possibly I could book the Windsor Christmas too. And I also want to do Highgrove. I really want to do Highgrove. Kimberly says, sorry about your loss, we're scrolling up, so sorry. Again, thank you so much, Kimberly. Peter says, Elliot, your video on Wallis and His Royal Highness the Duke of Windsor was fascinating. Thank you so much. I do occasionally like to do, completely obscure, out of the box type videos. I'd love to make more of them, but those videos take quite a long time to, research, write, record, source the pictures. So those videos I would love to do more of if I had lots more time. Hopefully I can make some royal Christmas videos like I did last year. In fact, I hope you all enjoyed my series of royal Christmas videos last year. So if you type in, well, actually just scroll back actually to some of my videos, and you'll find a lot of my Christmas videos from 2016. I'd like to update them, obviously, and to do some for 2017. Angel says, I'm going to get a Christmas tree. Am I going to get one? Well, I confess I have fake ones. I've got 2 fake Christmas trees, but one looks really convincing. And you'll see it in my Christmas broadcast message. Annette says, I love the decoration this year. I do too. It's very traditional. Oh yes, by the way, David's asking Lady Buckingham, how was Thanksgiving? For anyone who's celebrated Thanksgiving, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving, happy belated Thanksgiving. So I hope you all had a really good time, and you met with your family and friends, and just had a really good time. OJ says, totally want to see the fluff Christmas decor once you have it all in place. Do a Christmas tree vlog. Who would like to see a Christmas tree vlog? Let me know in the comments section. If you're watching on catch up as well, let me know in the comments. Justin Lagrange says, I might have already asked this question, but will Catherine become Princess of Wales when her husband becomes Prince of Wales? Yes, providing, because it's not automatic, but providing, as is expected, William will take on the Prince of Wales style and title, then Catherine will become Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales. She still won't be Princess Catherine in her own right, but she will be the Princess of Wales. Hello to Laurent in Charlottetown. Sandy says, hi Alex, how are you? Hope all is well. I'm late, don't worry. You can always watch anything you've missed on catch up. Don't forget these chats go straight onto YouTube, so you can watch them. In fact, I've probably made, well, I've been doing them for over a year now, so there's probably over 50 or 60, maybe even 70 live chats that you can go back and you can watch a back catalogue of. I've organised them into a playlist. So if you go to the Royal Reviewer live chats, I think I've called it, playlist, you can go back and you can watch all of them from the very beginning when I had no followers. I think I did my first live chat about a year and a half ago now, something like that. And for my first live chat, I only had 5 viewers throughout the whole chat. So things have moved on, thank goodness. So if you want to go back and check out those early chats, it's gonna make me cringe, but please do, please feel free. Lady Buckingham says, her Thanksgiving was in October. Oh yes, Canadians have it different. It's the American Thanksgiving. Angel has her Christmas tree up. And she can't wait for New Year. 46 days left till the new year. Wow. Okay, I'm just scrolling down just to make sure I don't miss any questions. Hang on, I'm going to have to scroll up quite slowly because I'm going to miss a load of questions. Hang on. Okay, I think I've definitely missed lots of questions. I'm going to go up very slowly. Aha, here we go. The first Mrs. R says, David Penner, unless he specifically requested, they should have titles. That's what happened with Princes Andrew and Edward. The Princess Royal asked that her children not be titled. That was true. Although the Princess Royal as a female wasn't automatically entitled, but I do believe that it was offered from the Queen. Peter Tor says, I hear that Meghan Markle is quite the humanitarian, and the Duke and Duchess love her. Yes, she is. And of course, her charity work goes back or spans way before she met Prince Harry. So no one can even say that she was doing it to try and, you know, fit in with the royals. She's been doing charity work, particularly with Africa, that kind of field, for a very long time. So yes, she is quite the humanitarian. You are correct. Lady Buckingham hopes that the wedding will be on TV. I hope so too. Sorry loves my cup, my cow cup. Hello to Laura, or Lorna is that, wherever you are in the world. Angel says, you have blue. James Med 4 says, how is the royal books reading going? Catherine's blue dress was very beautiful at the Royal Variety. Ah, that's where the blue came in. Yes, at the Royal Variety, it happened this week at the London Palladium, as it always does. And it was William and Catherine's turn to attend the event. And I believe it's only the second time since she's been married that she's attended the Royal Variety. She was dressed in an ice blue, sparkly Jenny Packham dress. Of course, she loves Jenny Packham. She looked fabulous. In fact, the dress, I think, kind of hid and disguised her baby bump. She was seen earlier in the week at an earlier engagement showing off that baby bump. But at the Royal Variety, I could hardly see it. It's still quite a very small baby bump. I think she carries quite small, even for her third child. So yeah, she looked absolutely stunning, and they had an amazing time. It looked like they were having lots and lots of fun. And of course, it's pre-recorded to be shown possibly in a couple of weeks' time, or next week or the week after. So of course, when it's out, I'll be watching it to find out what all the acts were. So I made 2 videos on that event. One out on the night from all the footage we got of the arrival, and then I put one out today, which is kind of like part 2, I suppose, where you can see them after the show had finished meeting some of the performers and acts and celebrities and stars of the show and leaving in their car. So I did a 2-part Royal Variety special, if you like. So do go and check those out. The photos are spectacular, and I can't wait for the actual performance to air on TV. Laurent says American tabloids have shown pictures of the engagement ring for Meghan, stating it's very big. I don't think anyone's seen the actual engagement ring. If they have, I think they're probably lying. Jen says, you think 2 boys and 2 girls. Is that for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge? Lady Buckingham says, what's the Queen's outfit colour request this week? Okay, so those of you who come week on week will know that we try and either predict or suggest what the Queen might be wearing this week. So if you have any ideas on colours or specific outfits, do let me know. MS31 says, can a non-traditional wedding avoid Meghan from becoming a Royal Highness? It's a possibility. Who knows? Who knows? I really don't know. I wouldn't have thought it's that, but who knows? Let's not forget that it's still in British law that the wife of a male always automatically takes on their rank and style. So it would be very hard not to. She would have to choose not to style herself Royal Highness, but by law she would be. Jen says your mug says it's pumpkin spice season. I think it's near a Christmas season. You need a new mug, a Christmas mug. Lady Buckingham says, oh dear, you are in Ontario, and I have siblings in Victoria and Souk. Have I pronounced that right? Souk. Angel says, I hope she wears light green dress and yellow. So you're thinking the Queen should wear light green or yellow. James Medford says, Catherine has been seen in public much more than the last 2 pregnancies. I would agree. And of course, once that severe bout of the debilitating morning sickness was over, she came out pretty much straight away. So yeah, maybe she's just used to the pregnancy side of things, used to the sickness thing. Let's not discredit the fact that that is normal for her. So maybe she's just kind of got used to it, gets on with it, gets over the illness, and then gets back on with the job. The first Mrs. R says, I was wrong on the children automatically having titles things. Sorry, don't worry. Joe Bob says, good morning or evening. And you're Joe from Shanghai. Well, hello from everyone in Shanghai. I didn't know my viewers were that far-reaching. Hello to Shanghai. Mary says, is Meghan Church of England or maybe okay, now you're challenging me. An Episcopalian? If not, wouldn't she convert? She's Roman Catholic, I do believe. But there is no bar now on a Roman Catholic from discrediting someone in the line of succession, so she could retain her Catholicism. However, she could also convert to Church of England. It would make things easier for her in terms of all of the church ceremonies that she'll be attending, as partner of Harry, will be Church of England ones. So there is the chance that she could convert. Peter Tall says, a beautiful amethyst cabochon. It is indeed. And of course, they aren't real diamonds on mine. It's a replica. I can't afford real diamonds. Please send me money so I can afford real diamonds, or just send me real diamonds. I have a PO box. Yes, send me real diamonds, please, somebody. If you're wealthy, send me diamonds. Shower me with gems. I would love it. I do jest. James Med4 says, Edward and Sophie delayed their children's titles to lessen there being this media intrusion on their childhoods. Again, they may have many reasons. That could certainly be one of them. And who knows, when the children are older themselves, they may decide to take up what's rightfully theirs. We don't know. You know, certainly, like I say, you know, once they've done their growing up, they might want their titles, of which they would be entitled, I suppose, to take up. Odia says, I love the box bows made for you. They really set off your brooches nicely. And thank you so much again to Dawn, Lady Buckingham, for making them and sending them to me. They are fabulous. I love them. And I've got all different colours and different types. So look out over the coming weeks. I'll be wearing different ones. Karen says, what is that interesting door behind me? Is it another room or a closet or a cupboard? If you don't mind me saying. It is a room. And if you want to see what's behind the door, go to Patreon. That's www.patreon.com. There's also an app. Go on there, sign in, type in Royal Reviewer in the search box, and you will find my Patreon page. And on there, I have lots of exclusive things for my patrons. Now, to become a patron, it's dead simple. Just sign up with Patreon, and you can pledge a certain amount each month to support this channel, which I'm currently saving up to go towards sort of visits, I suppose, off-site visits to do proper vlogs. So I'm probably going to save up any donations or any monthly donations towards a London trip in the summer, which I'm definitely going to book this time. So that will be vlogs from Buckingham Palace, possibly Windsor Castle too, just basically anywhere I go that's royal. So that's what I'm going to save my donations up for. So Patreon, back to Patreon. I post exclusive footage or pictures of different things, sometimes aspects of my own life. And if you want to see what's behind the door, there are photos that I've put on Patreon of what's behind the door. And I try and update it weekly with different things. You get rewards as well, so it's not just donations. I don't like the idea of just receiving donations. I like to give back too. So if you are a patron member, depending on what tier you're at, you get different rewards, such as the exclusive posts on Patreon, behind the scenes. You get entry to an exclusive Facebook group for patrons only. If you're a $10 a month or over subscriber, you get a personalized written birthday card for your birthday and a signed photograph from me. And you also are entitled to a Christmas card, which I'm just sorting out. So I'll be sending off the Royal Reviewer Christmas cards to $10 a month or over subscribers very, very soon. And you also get, if you're a $20 a month or over subscriber, you get a name check in the credits of every live chat video. So if you look at the description on this live chat, you will see that there are some name checks. So you can get your name checked. And also, if you submit any questions to me personally via Patreon or the Facebook group, if you're a $20 a month or over subscriber, I will answer your questions first. So that's all about Patreon rather. So if you want to become a patron on Patreon, do go and check it out. Eileen, is that Eileen or Eileen, says, what is the significance of colours of the box bows? They are just traditional, kind of like family orders. If you look at the Queen, sometimes when she's, usually state occasions, she'll wear a pink and I think baby blue box bow with the family orders on. So she's got one of her father, George VI, so that will fit in the middle of the box bow. And she also has one of her grandfather, George V. So those are the monarchs that she lived under. So she has the family order granted by those. And most of the royal family today have a Royal Family Order of the Queen, which she bestows on family members. There are some that don't. Usually she waits a fair amount of years before she gives one. Not always. Camilla had to wait a little bit. Diana had to wait a little bit. Catherine's still waiting, although I do believe one for her will be coming fairly soon. But again, thank you to Dawn for making them. Peter Daw says, Elliot, how do you become a royal reviewer? How did your interest start? My interest started from childhood. I just loved anything royal. I loved royal history, particularly the Tudor period or even Egyptian pharaohs. I loved that. And probably my interest in the British royal family. Although I've always been interested, my sort of reviewing of them and my following of them to the level that I do now probably only started 4 years ago. Of course, I knew lots about them, but I really started getting into them possibly 4 years ago. And always the intention of this channel was to just sort of comment on what they do, just kind of review them, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Whatever's happening, just be truthful and just say exactly what's happening. I don't tend to like to put out, well, I really try my very best not to put out any kind of fake news or stories that might not be true. Of course, it's fun to speculate. I love speculating. It's one of the most fun things about following the royal family. But I would never state an opinion or a speculation as a fact. So you know that if you watch my videos, what you're getting is what's happened. And if it is a speculation, I will say it's a speculation, or I will say something is unconfirmed or unannounced. And you know, I will not shy away from saying we don't know what's happening until we get an official announcement. So so yeah, you know, this channel hopefully is the one for you. There are lots of fake news royal channels out there and Facebook groups and all the rest that will just try and get clickbaited views. Sometimes it's very disparaging for me, who I try not to do clickbaity type titles, but you know, these videos that do clickbait titles get, you know, 50, 60, 100,000 views, you know, and sometimes my videos only get, you know, 800 views, and just because probably I haven't used a clickbait title. So sometimes it's very tempting to just do a clickbait, but I do try and refrain from doing that, and I hope you guys appreciate that. Angel says, I like what you wear now, thank you so much. Dawn says, it does look like a castle door. A castle door? It's an oval top door, it's a curved archway door. This house is at least 160 years old. Jen says, I'll send you them on Twitter later. Thank you so much. Flaufenkaiser says, hi Elliot, do you think the Queen's Christmas message today will hold the same essence as they did when she first televised them? Her 1957 Christmas message seemed to really touch with people. Of course, the Christmas messages are kind of like a diary of the Queen's reign. You know, if you look back from the early ones all the way through to today, you can see changes. I mean, obvious visual changes with you know, the aging process. She sounds different. The voice has changed. The message, you know, changes a little bit year by year. It still always has a Christian tone. She always has a little bit of reflection, a little bit of looking forward to the future, and a little bit of, you know, analysis of what's gone on that year, you know, the most important points of that year. And sometimes, you know, most years she reveals a little bit of personal, you know, information about what's gone on that year. She'll make a personal comment about something that her family's been doing, or, you know, a tour that Charles may have been on, or something like that. So we can expect, I wouldn't expect anything radical from the 2017 broadcast. The first Mrs. R says, 2018 will be a busy year for the royal family. At least one new baby and possibly a major wedding, whatever else is in the pipeline. And you also say both York princesses are still single and maybe Mia will get a sibling. Oh, well, yeah, all of that could happen. Who knows? Oh dear says, I would love if you would do Windsor at Christmas. and Highgrove will be on your top of the list. Although you understand Charles does not allow any photography. I'm not sure about that. To be honest, I haven't been, so I don't know. I can't comment. Although if you look on the website, it probably would say, I would imagine. Odia says, Lady Buckingham, yes, I thought the door looked like a castle, like mysterious and fun. Jen says, happy Thanksgiving. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving. We don't really here in the UK because we haven't liberated ourselves from ourselves. But we do celebrate Christmas. You know, Christmas is kind of like our Thanksgiving dinner. Although maybe you just have 2 really big, nice dinners in the year. Maybe we should have a Thanksgiving, but maybe we should think of something to say thanks for. Angel says, I need more money for my children. Don't we all? Peter says, your turkey was delicious. I would love to taste your turkey. The first Mrs. R says, ooh, I would love to see a Christmas tree vlog. Perhaps I should. Christine says, yes, tree vlog. Dawn says, I would like to see your decorations when they are done. Maybe I should this year. I didn't last year. Maybe I should. Annette says, thanks, Elliot. I cooked all kinds of food for 2 days. It was tired out, but everyone was thrilled. Oh, I'm missing comments again. Hang on. Sorry if it's taking me a while to get through your comments. Hang on. Here we go. David says, did the Queen surpass any reigning monarchy in England for longevity? Yeah, I think she was. Yeah, she was definitely the longest reigning. That's what the longest reigning monarch was about. So yes. If that was your question, if I've understood your question correctly. Nina says, I love the Queen's Christmas messages. I've been watching them for years and look forward to it every year. I make my family go dead quiet. If there's any pan clattering in the background, I'm watching the Queen. Although I think they've learned not to clatter or talk when the Queen's Christmas message is on. Kimberly says, don't know quite how to ask this, but are a certain amount of pews or seats available for just the average British citizens for a royal wedding? Well, there are obviously a set number of seats for St Paul's or Westminster Abbey. However, with the coronation in Westminster Abbey, they added extra seating. So technically, if they wanted to, they could add extra seating, but I don't think that's happened for a wedding, to my knowledge. Oh dear says, I have gone back and watched a few old live chats and they are good and do fill in some background. You enjoy listening to them while working on other things. Thank you. Well, kind of like a podcast, I suppose. That's one thing I would actually like to do is podcasts, but I'm not sure how you do them. I'm not sure how you put them out or what you need to do. If anyone knows about podcasts, how to make podcasts, do let me know. Contact me on Twitter or leave a message. Angel says, and toys for Christmas tree for kids. Don't get toys for Christmas. Help. Midnight Hazel says, hi Elliot, I wonder, do you think that Meghan Markle will be invited to Christmas at Windsor? You read somewhere that maybe Catherine will offer her a room at Anne Hall. The bit that she'll be hopefully this year spending time at will be Sandringham. The Queen moves from Windsor to Sandringham for her Christmas celebrations with the family. It's possible, again, because Sandringham does get quite full with families staying over, that there could be room at Anma. I don't think anybody, will have got confirmation of that. So it's a possibility. I think I'll just stick with it's a possibility. Annette says the Jenny Packham dress was to die for. It was really good. It was very sparkly and lovely. Jenna thinks maybe another boy for Catherine. First Mrs. R says, how familiar are you with the royal family of Monaco? Princess Charlene doesn't seem to smile much. Do you have a sense that she is unhappy as she looks? Some people just have that face, that sort of resting, sad, turned down expression, don't they? So maybe she's just one of those. Midnight Hazel says Catherine is stunning. Hooked on Jesus thinks the royal baby number 3 is going to be a girl. Jen thinks boy. Lots of people boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Midnight Hazel says Catherine carries herself very well with an approachable dignity. Mary says, also, do you know if the Queen is shown her fan mail? You've never written, but you'd like to. The vast majority of letters are all handled by her ladies in waiting, who handle all of the responses to the letters. However, a selection of unopened envelopes are delivered to the Queen most days, and she does open them herself. So you could be lucky if you sent one that one of those letters was selected to be presented to the Queen to open personally. The Queen does like to keep in touch directly with, with her subjects. Of course, she may not respond, a handwritten message or something typed by herself, but she will certainly direct the response to those mails herself to her ladies in waiting. So it's a possibility. If you send a letter, it could get picked out to be presented to the Queen. David says, you're interested in reading history of British monarchy, past and present. What do I recommend? Oh, there's so many books. So many books. I like Alison Weir books. That's Alison, obviously, Alison, Weir, Weir. She does lots of historical books. She's also written some historical fictions, which again are very, very good. But her non-fictions are outstanding. I would say, for me, some of the best and most engaging. I loved the one she did on Elizabeth I. I probably read that 10 or 11 or 12 years ago. I still remember pretty much all of it. So I would recommend Alison Weir. Mary says, and you posted on Facebook page about a few books you wanted to send, but you don't think you did it right. Just let you know about the Facebook thing. Sometimes messages don't get sent to me. Sometimes they get automatically put into a junk folder or a clutter or something that I don't see. So unless you're a friend on the Facebook, it doesn't always get through. So probably the best way to message me is to send me something or a tweet on Twitter. So Royal Reviewer on Twitter is probably the best way of getting through to me on social media. Ben says Catherine was glowing. She was indeed. And I liked her hair too. I mean, some people are saying they like the hair much longer, but I quite liked it shoulder length. Nina says, if Meghan spends Christmas with the royals, will she and Harry have to stay in separate bedrooms? No, probably not if they're engaged. No, I wouldn't have thought so. Jen says, yes, I need a new mug. Okay, let me go back up. Okay, James Medford says, Princess Michael was a divorcee and they had a civil wedding outside of the UK, and she was a Catholic and was still made a Royal Highness. You know, things can just happen. And there isn't always, I mean, you know, the royal family does follow protocols. Obviously, it's renowned for following protocols, but protocols can be relaxed if permission is given for things to happen. Nina says, where is Jamie? I'm afraid we are Jamie-less tonight. And I was hoping we wouldn't have any trouble tonight. Jamie is well, don't worry. If you miss Jamie, our moderator, he's not here because he's doing something really, really fun. He's in a performance in a show. So I wish Jamie the best of luck. And in fact, I think he's probably doing it round about now. So I would urge you, if anyone says anything nasty or derogatory in the chat, please just ignore and don't retaliate. Jen says she needs diamonds. Angel says I have some, and you don't like violating. Nita says, hello again. What's the difference between Queen Elizabeth II and the First? Well, about 500 years, I would say. Colour of the hair, completely different dress style. Probably the main difference is Queen Elizabeth I had a lot more power. You know, she just after obviously you know, Mary, and yes, it was before most of the sovereign power over the country was taken away from the monarch, from the reigning monarch. So she had a lot more power, I would say. Queen Elizabeth II is a constitutional monarch. Christine says, I have The Kings and Queens of England by Antonia Fraser. I've read that one too, and yes, that one is another good book. Mary says the books are A Royal Duty by the butler who went to court. Yes, there is that book as well. Paul Burrell, I think you mean. And you like Kitty Kelly's book, The Royals, and Monarch by Robert Lacey. I haven't read anything by Robert Lacey. Tim says, hello from Atlanta. Hello to you, Tim, and welcome to the live chat. The first Mrs. R says, since the crowns of England and Scotland didn't merge until James VI, or First of Scotland, have they, with the dual numbering on official documents as such? I'm not quite sure I understand your question. Let me read that again. Have they, with the dual numbering on official documents as such? Do you mean James I's name? No, when he was signing documents, I think he reverted to James the First, actually. I don't think he used the 6th, unless it was perhaps something specifically relating to Scotland. But no, I don't think there's any dual documents that the Queen signs. I think she just signs Elizabeth R, and then anything in British law is signed into law, if that's what you meant by your question. Angel says, what about the children? Don't have a Christmas tree and gift under the tree. Poundland. Annette Fernier says, I wonder, Nina, they have been away together a few times, but for protocol maybe. Historically, the guests scramble like roaches when the lights go out. Tim says, I hope the Queen will make Christmas service with her family. I'm sure she will. Peter says, let's place Elliot on our Christmas card list. You can, if you want to send me a Christmas card, you can. I have a PO box address, which you've handily put in chat for me. And it is indeed Royal Reviewer, PO Box 791, Telford TS7 9GB. And if you've missed that, if you go to the description of this chat, it's in the description. So if you want to send me anything, a letter that you want me to respond to, or a Christmas card, please do. Mary says, can one of the chatters please tell me how to report the man? I'm not sure from this angle how. Angel says your birthday is January the 21st, 1981. Mary says, is that the address to mail me some books? Yes, that's the address. You can send me anything to my PO box. Midnight Hazel says, so glad to see my viewers are growing. I am too. It definitely makes a difference from the days when I have 5 viewers to my live chats. Mary says, I have 2 about Elizabeth I, but you haven't read them yet, but you'll gladly send them on after you read them. You're a huge fan of the Royals and a big Anglophile, even though you're from Alabama. Nothing wrong with that. You can be an honorary Brit. You can all be honorary Brits. Okay, Francesca says, good evening. What a day yesterday. It was indeed the great Harry and Meghan fiasco. First Mrs. R says, 160 years old. Wow. How much do you know about the history of the house? That might make an interesting non-royal video. This house that I'm in now, I've lived in all my life. So yeah, you know, I've lived here all my life. The house itself is referred to in local history, so we know it's at least 160 years old. It was listed at one point as being a beer house. So a beer house is like a house that was built with the purpose of selling alcohol, but it wasn't a public house. It wasn't a British pub as such. It was more on house proportions. Usually the people who owned the houses homebrewed ale and sold it from their living rooms. The property does have a cellar, a proper beer cellar. So yeah, it's an old property, but we don't know exactly how much old. I say at least 160 years old because that was the first mention of it as a beer house on one of the local censuses that we have. However, I found an old 1840 map, and I think I found the property listed on the 1840 map. So it's as old as probably 1840, I would say. Jen says your house is a year and 1 month old. It's brand new. Midnight Hazel says, I wonder, do you think that Meghan Markle will be invited to Christmas at Windsor? Possibly Sandringham if they're engaged. You read somewhere that maybe Catherine will offer her a room at Anne Hall. Again, it's possible. It really is. Victoria says, hello, Elliot from Ontario in Canada, I do believe. If and when Harry and Meghan marry, will she be allowed to carry on with her existing charities? I would have thought so. Or will they need to be approved by the Queen? No, charities don't have to be approved by the Queen. They certainly weren't in Diana's day. Diana took on lots of charities that the royals probably wouldn't have wanted her to. So Meghan will have no problem carrying on her humanitarian work if that's what she wants to do. Flothen Kaiser, I think I'm saying your name correct, says, my channel is the most reliable royal review and balanced information you have seen. I truly have a noble vocation and shares it unselfishly. Thank you so much. I'm really pleased that that's what you get from my channel, because that's what I intend to put out there. So I'm really thankful that you get that from what I'm trying to do. Melody says, was the interest equally high when William and Catherine were engaged? You don't recall? I do. And yes, it was. But let's not forget that William and Catherine have been dating for a very, very long time. So I think people have kind of got used to waiting. Whereas I think with Harry, we know, and Meghan, we know that time is kind of ticking on. And we know something is probably going to be imminent. Jen says, you want to decorate your entire house for Christmas, I'm thinking. Hooked on Jesus says, it's all about Harry. Midnight Hazel says, absolutely. Elliot doesn't just blather about. I try not to. Peter says, that sounds so festive. You love seeing the lights on the side of houses. I do too. It really brightens up the winter. And that's one really good thing about Christmas. Karen Dixon says, what are the modern day traditions for Boxing Day? In the UK, Boxing Day, well, obviously, traditionally, you would have boxing on the TV. Sometimes there are sports as well going on. It's usually another time for the family to come together, to relax a little bit from the sort of Christmas Day rush. So it's a bit more chilled. More often than not, families have Boxing Day dinners, which is a bit like another Christmas dinner, but for Boxing Day. Sometimes families use Boxing Day to go and visit other family that they haven't spent Christmas Day with. Certainly with families that have split or divided homes. Usually, one parent might have the children for Christmas Day, one might have Boxing Day. Then the next year they might swap over. So Boxing Day is another very, very useful day. Kind of like a second, more relaxed Christmas, I would describe it as. Let me know what you do for Boxing Day. Mary says, Jen, we usually go out all decorations, but you have a young kitten this year and she climbs and plays with stuff. I feel your pain. Mine are over that, I hope. So right now you just start decorating this year. I would say go for a fibre optic tree, because fibre optic trees, you don't have to have decorations. You can just have the lights. So my tip is, with little tiny terror cats running around, go for a fibre optic tree. Jen says, you have a starburst where it lights up the whole outside of the house. Wow, I would love to see that. Take a picture and send it. Oh dear says, hi Sandy, you're reporting all hate statements today. Thank you, please do. Mary says, oh dear, I'm doing that too. Hang on, let me go back up. Okay, I'm just reading some of the comments to make sure I'm reading the question ones. David says, thank you, Elliot, for Alison Weir name for historic reading. She's very, very good. James 94 says, do we have a moderator today? No, Jamie can't be here tonight, so we're going to have to try and plod on without, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. So please, any inappropriate comments, just ignore. Don't even respond to them. Peter says, for those of you who don't like it, for those of you who don't like, forget to hit the like button. Yes. Give any of my videos a big old thumbs up. In fact, I probably don't say this enough. Maybe I should add it to my end credit speech that I make on every video. You see loads of YouTubers saying, you know, give my video a big old thumbs up. But yes, it really does help. It's a little thing, but if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. It makes the YouTube algorithm think and know that the video is being liked, and therefore it pushes the video more into people's recommendations lists. So by giving me a big old thumbs up and saying this video is good, you're helping the video be seen by more people and helping the channel grow. So please do give the video a big old thumbs up. Candice says, hi Elliot, you're late, but thank you so much for the wonderful birthday card. I was going to ask you if you've received it. You say it arrived the day before your birthday, and you put it proudly on display in your living room. Thank you again. I'm so pleased you got it. I usually work on it, takes about 2 weeks for a card that I send to get to the States. So Candice, or Van Al Girl, in the chat room now, I spoke about Patreon and patrons. Candice is one of my patrons who is entitled to get birthday cards. So she's just received one. So, you know, don't think that, you know, I'm making empty promises. You really do get rewards. If you support this site, I give back. Candice is testament to that. She received one of my birthday cards, and I'm really pleased and happy that you liked it and you put it on display. That really makes me feel good, and it really makes me feel good posting them too. I love to post them. I like to write in them and make them personal to you. So again, check onto Patreon if you want one as well for your birthday. And I'm glad I got the timing right as well, and you received it just in time for your birthday. Jen says, someone is 16 years old. Who is 16 years old? Oh, Jamie. Yes, Jamie is only 16. So yes, he's doing a performance in a play, for those of you who don't know. Midnight Hazel says, I don't think that Harry's been treated any differently as far as having a girlfriend on premises than William and Catherine had to observe. Why should standards be lowered? Indeed. Christine also loves Alison Weir. Hooked on Jesus says, I enjoy the British accent. Midnight Hazel says, what's the Harry and Meghan fiasco? Oh, all the media, I spoke about it earlier, but in a nutshell, all the media thought there was going to be an engagement announcement on Friday at 11 o'clock, which then moved to 5 o'clock, but didn't happen. So that was the big fiasco. And everyone was getting their, as we say in the UK, their knickers in a twist over it. Don't get your knickers in a twist. Okay, Hooked on Jesus says, all the latest talk. Hopefully you mean my chat has all the latest talk. Mary says, yay, I'm an honorary Brit. You can be an honorary Albanian. How am I saying that? Alabamian. Is that correct? Oh, Alabamian? I'm an Alabamian. I can't do the accent. Alabama. Alabama. I'm from Alabama. Is that correct? I don't know. If you want, just say Roll Tide. I can't do that in the accent. Sandy says, Mary, you watch the Tides play Auburn now. Lots of people saying Roll Tide. I have no idea what Roll Tide means. Hooked on Jesus says, really, wow, that's sort of a direct or indirect reflection on the royals. Midnight Hazel says, wow, busy chat tonight. Yay. Indeed, I love it when it's busy. Annette says, there is a Macon in Georgia. I have no idea what a Macon is. Sandy says, yes, Jen, but I have a British passport and American. Dual citizen. Oh, Macon must be a place, because Cindy's saying I live near Macon. Midnight Hazel says, nice to know. I thought Boxing Day was a British Christmas. Sorry. Don't worry. You weren't to know. Mary says, your kitten is half bobcat. Also to keep most cats away from things. Blow up balloons and tape them nearby. They pop and it scares the cat. Oh, poor pussies. Doesn't work on this one though. You've got a very clever kitty. Cindy says, gonna miss Jamie. Well, don't worry, the chat's kind of coming close to finishing, I would have thought. More people saying yes, they like Alison Weir, she's amazing. Annette says, was Boxing Day originally from the servants to celebrate and receive gifts from the fancy families that they worked for? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure on the history, but I could look that up for a future video and maybe see how that fits into the royal family. Kind of like what a royal Boxing Day looks like in a royal household. That might be quite good. Midnight Hazel just hit the thumbs up, please do. Mary says, Sandy, my husband is watching too. He's a huge fan. Your oldest son and daughter are Auburn fans. Both my dad and father-in-law went to Auburn. Sandy says, awesomeness, we love football. I'm just reading down some of the comments. Peter says, I imagine Prince Harry is happy and his family is so happy for him. Well, I would have thought so. I think they'd be quite happy that he's trying to settle down. Cindy says, we call it panties in a wad. Oh, don't get your panties in a wad. I like that one too. That's a good one. I'm going to try and remember that one. Panties in a wad. Melody says, does each family member have to hire their own staff at Kensington Palace? Some of the staff these days are becoming shared. So, for example, like the PR office and that kind of thing handles the younger royals like Prince Harry, the Duke of Cambridge, and the Duchess of Cambridge. So there's a lot more amalgamating of staff. It used to be that each royal would have had, or each royal family within the royal family would have had their own. But these days things are becoming more into one, more merging. We see a little bit more merging as well with Prince Charles's household and the Queen's, although they're still very separate. But things are beginning to merge. There is change afoot. Nita says, thanks, 500 years and still a great kingdom, as it once was. I would say it's just changed. Of course, throughout history, Britain changes, and obviously not the same as we would have been 500 years ago. But the royal family is still very relevant to today because of those small changes that keep being made. Mary says, Roll Tide is the cheer that fans of the football team from the University of Alabama. War Eagle is the cheer for the Auburn University team. So there you go, it's a cheer. Roll Tide and War Eagle. And apparently they're playing now. The first Mrs. R says, okay, that accent was a little scary. You sounded like one of my of your former. And Roll Tide is the crowd University of Alabama. Jen says, how about those worms? I don't like worms. Stop with the worms. I don't like the worms. Please stop. Okay. Victoria says, Boxing Day was originally a day for day off for servants, and so they could have Christmas with their families. Well, there you go. That was the origins of Boxing Day. Midnight Hazel says, thank you for being wonderful. Signing off from upstate New York. Good night to you. And Jen says, cool. Now I think I finally reached the bottom of the live chat comments. It's taken me all night to do that. It's because you've been asking so many great questions and great comments. I'm going to have to clear my throat because I've been talking for a very long time. Okay, if I didn't mention it earlier, the Queen is now the oldest living head of state since Robert Mugabe, who is 94, was ousted or resigned from Zimbabwe. So the Queen is now the oldest living head of state in the world. There were 4 new platinum wedding anniversary portraits released this week to celebrate the 70th wedding anniversary of the Queen and Prince Philip. So I hope you've all seen the videos I made about those and enjoyed them, hopefully. There was a 70th platinum wedding anniversary dinner held at Windsor Castle from the Queen to celebrate her wedding anniversary, and all the British royals, or most of them that could be there, did attend. I made a video on that of them all arriving. Obviously it was a private event, so there's no photographs from inside, but there are from the royals arriving. Catherine wore to this event, you could see it from the photographs from the car, a Japanese pearl and diamond choker that is on loan from the Queen. Now the Queen's worn it, obviously, Princess Diana's worn it, and now Catherine's worn it. So who knows, it could be on long-term loan, but it was really nice to see Catherine in some new jewellery. I thought that was really, really good. Prince Philip is still carriage driving. On the morning of the 70th wedding anniversary, he was seen in Windsor carriage driving. So do go and check out the video of that. He's still incredibly active, even in retirement. Prince Charles continued and completed his tour of Antigua and Barbuda. Of course, Antigua and Barbuda were hit by the hurricanes. So he went and completed the tour of that. We've already spoken about Meghan Markle loads, but she is in London currently for Christmas. There are lots of things pointing to a future wedding, even though it might not be an imminent announcement now. Could be New Year, could be imminent, who knows. But she is, reportedly having her dogs shipped over. She's apparently ended the rental on her home and is having her furniture shipped over. Although I'm not sure where it's going to go, because Harry's cottage is quite bijou, on the small side. So I'm not sure where all that's going to go. And she's also left Suits because her body double posted a tweet or a social media something saying that Meghan's role had finished. So we know something's afoot, and all the evidence point to Meghan Markle coming over to the UK. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge this week visited the West Midlands, where I am. Shropshire is obviously within the West Midlands. So they visited Land Rover Jaguar, and they took a ride in an off-road vehicle. So do check that video out. It was pretty good. And they also visited a whistle making factory called Acme Whistles and Aston Villa Football Club. So if you want to see the videos on that, please do go check them out. And I think I mentioned pretty much. Oh yes, Prince Philip was gifted by the Queen for the anniversary the honour of being a Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order. So he's been elevated to that position. It is an honour. Probably one quite late in life for him to get, but even so, that is something, a gift that the Queen can bestow personally, and she has done. So congratulations to Prince Philip on receiving the Knight Grand Cross. And I've mentioned my Christmas message, which I've written and due to be recorded for 2017 Royal Reviewer Christmas message. So I'm going to go back up and see some comments. Okay. Karen Dixon says, that's why I keep watching also. You appreciate my non-fake sincerity. You're American, so we just have a chill day. Leftovers or a movie out with friends and family, and gift returns. Oh yes, lots of people in the UK use Boxing Day to start the sales, to hit the shops. That's something I completely forgot. I tend not to, because I can't be doing with all the people. I don't like the shopping centres too crowded. Flofen Kaiser says, Elliot, do you know if historically the House of Hanover royal titles, which are family names now in Germany, are recognised and valid under British royal titles? No, they gave them all up. Obviously, with the world wars under George V, they were all renounced. So no, they are not recognised anymore. Although maybe they could try and be claimed. I don't know. I don't think they would want to. But no, they are not recognised anymore. Lady Buckingham, Dawn, says, you were told Boxing Day was to box gifts up, but you didn't want to return them. Some people do that. Sandy says, yes, Karen, I'm awesome. Thank you for saying so. Mary says, so as an Anglophile, I have a question about heraldry. My husband's family has a coat of arms because his ancestors are from there. Is it appropriate to display that here? Depends if it's a real coat of arms, because anyone can say, I'm a McGowan, and I'm going to type in McGowan on the internet, and there's the McGowan family crest, therefore that's my crest. It doesn't work that way. You have to prove that your family's lineage comes from the family that initiated that family crest. So even though you might have the name of a family that has a family crest, it doesn't mean that you can use it. You have to prove that your lineage goes back to that very first one. So if your husband has a proper coat of arms that is definitely that was presented to his family that he can trace back to, then yes, he can use the family coat of arms no matter where you are. But you have to prove that it is yours. You can't really just use someone else's because you've got the same family name. You have to prove the lineage. Odia says, funny Lady Buckingham, really it was to box up leftover food and give to the poor. But returning gifts is funny. Peter says she looked stunning in her black lace dress and choker. She did indeed. Of course, we're talking about Catherine, who looked absolutely amazing. Oh, let me just scroll back up again. Okay, Peter says, good to see Prince Philip out and about on the carriage. Mary says, I just thought of this. Meghan is Catholic and divorced. Will she need an annulment from either church before the wedding? No. And apparently the church has already given their blessing. H.A. Bracken says, you're late. What happened with Jamie? He's got a prior engagement tonight doing a performance in a show he's in and finishing off that show, and I think having a big party afterwards. So at the moment, he'll be out partying, but he'll be back next week, so don't worry. Sandy says, Mary, she's not Catholic. Well, I read she was Catholic. I think everything I've read says that she's Catholic. As far as I'm aware, if you can prove otherwise, please do let me know. Oh dear says, I just can't seem to get worked up about Harry and Meghan. Not against them getting married, but just don't care that much. More interested in William and Catherine, the Queen and Charles and Yorks. Of course, everyone has their favourite royals and preference. Annette says, all my videos this week were much appreciated. Thank you so much. And Mary says, one other thing you might find interesting, you're half Italian. And lots of Italian Americans have Little Christmas on January the 6th. And yay for the sales. Let's just go back up again. I seem to have got behind on my comments again. Hooked on Jesus says, it's all about Harry for me. I love that man. Another Harry rocks from Jen. Francesca's more interested in Catherine now after the marriage. Nina's going. Good night to you. She says, sorry, I have to go. Don't worry, you can always catch up if you've missed any. Mary says it's real. His father did the whole genealogy thing and double checked when he was in England. You can apply to the heraldry place. I can't remember its exact name, but I did look once. And you can actually get that confirmed. So you can take all the information that's been researched. You can send a copy off to the place that does the heraldry, and then you can get recognised for that, I do believe. And you can get sent all the things I think you need to use it. So I think that's the way of doing it. But you have to have all that evidence. Annette says you're half Polish and you do the same Little Christmas. Aha, Jamie's here. We've missed you, Jamie. We could have done with you earlier. But I hope your performance and party went well. So hello to you, Jamie, and welcome back. Cindy saying my favourite royal is Sophie Wessex. Jamie says you're well sad. 4 nights of fun are over. But at least you had them. And if you do manage to find if it's put on YouTube, do let everyone know. I'm sure everyone would love to see the performance. Patricia says hello from the Azores. Do you think it would be possible for Harry to be engaged in private and just let the public know later on through the media? It's possible they are already engaged. I would probably say that's fairly likely. And yes, he's probably going to let the public know later on that something's happened. But I don't think he'll get married in secret. Okay, Mary says, Annette, that's when we give the big gifts. We also do St. Nicholas's night on December the 5th with the shoes and all. Do you all do that? Karen says, I love Harry too and William. Must follow what will happen with Diana's boys and want the best for them to be happiest. I think that echoes many people's sentiments. Mary says, have you ever seen Lisa Campbell's artwork? She has a site for it. Check it out if you like her. Her dad was the Thane of Cawdor. I haven't seen it, no, but I will check it out. Jamie says he's covered in makeup. What a revelation. And you're so tired. Well, I think, unfortunately, as sad as it is, and Jamie's only just arrived, I'm going to have to end tonight's chat here. We have had an amazing, very full chat. It took me ages to get to the bottom of the comment section, but eventually I did. So I am going to end tonight's chat here. Thank you all for coming. Like I say, you can watch this chat again on catch up. You can also watch any of the others that I previously made, my back catalogue of live chats. So please do check them all out. Give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and come back next week. Royal Reviewer live weekly chat Saturday at 10 PM. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. So from me in Shropshire, goodbye.